All right, folks, it's time to strap on the spandex because it's time to get physical with old mate Jarret Gunn. How's it going, buddy?
It's good, Ben. It's very good. I'm glad that you threw in the physical reference there because I was listening back to one of the previous podcasts, and it's true. I don't know if I really say PE class that often. So when I actually say, stay physical at the end, people are probably just like, what's this guy's deal with fitness? We can only see his upper torso. Is his bottom like really ripped or
The
something?
rest of it, and I've noticed that some like Glenn in the last couple of months, Glenn has gotten really lazy with the intros with you. Like when you start, I don't know if they make it into the show, but when he starts with the
Yeah,
recording
yeah.
with us, it's just like, ah, Jarrett's here to talk about something.
That's pretty much it. I hear the lead in, on the recording that goes out, and I'm like, oh, okay, well at least I'm coming up. But then I just kind of come out of nowhere, so like a bull out of a gate. But this week's home entertainment, Ben. The good news is that it's you and I, so we don't have to talk about those filthy, filthy DVDs because God knows there's quite a few of them coming out this week. But I'm not going to talk about any of them.
Hell
If
with
they
it.
don't have a 4K or Blu-ray release, they're not rating a mention, so we
I'm
won't
actually
talk about
I'm
those films.
surprised that you even mentioned things that don't have a Dolby Atmos soundtrack.
Yeah, it's true. Well, it's getting to that stage now, isn't it? Really? Like even the Blu-rays have got Dolby Atmos. For instance, The Nun 2, a film that I've yet to see that I probably won't watch because I didn't enjoy the first one and I realize life's precious and there's only so many hours in a day and I'd sooner rewatch something that, I know is going to be shit, but, is say made 20, 30 years ago, even earlier. But yeah, Nun 2's coming out on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray DVD. It's got two featurettes. Both of them run for about 5 to 7 minutes. So it is literally the things you would watch on YouTube. No real added value. And the Blu-ray and the 4K have Dolby Atmos. So if you don't want the uptick in quality, if you don't want to see The Nun in 4K, you can watch it on Blu-ray and still enjoy the Dolby Atmos.
And who put this one out, Jarret? Who's the is this
Well, it's a Warner title, but it's being distributed on home ent through Roadshow because they got that weird agreement. Roadshow still looks after Warner's home ent, Universal look after the theatrical. But I almost feel like it's like one washes its hands of it, and then the other one's sort of like, oh well,
gets
just
lumbered with it?
put it out to dry. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, look, to be honest, I'm glad you've cleared that up because the only movie about nuns that I want to see are released by a European company called Private, if anyone's heard of it.
Right. Okay. Is that like what is it? Diary of a Closeted Nun or something like that? Or
Yeah, it's similar. They also they also did one called Mission to Mars. No, not Mission to Mars, Mission to Uranus, and
oh,
it contained the first zero G money shot, shall we say?
oh wow, that's incredible. Okay, there you go.
Which, as it turned, I was very disappointed when I did buy it because all they did was turn the camera upside down.
Oh man, they didn't even put him in a gravitron
They
or
didn't even
anything.
put it in a gravitron. No, it's very disappointing.
Oh man, yeah, that's well, that's all sizzle, no steak.
Yeah,
Another release I want to mention, another new release, I should say, because there's a couple films that are making their Blu-ray debuts locally. In some instances, collector's editions locally. But the only other new release I want to mention that's getting a Blu-ray release is Rib Spreader. It's
yeah.
coming out on Blu-ray, no DVD, and there's a digital holdback until early next year. So the only way to watch Rib Spreader is in full HD on Blu-ray, which is really cool. If knowing that the only option you have to watch this film is a physical copy and it's in high definition, we're setting a trend over at Monster Fest right now doing this.
I'm constantly fascinated by the people who ask for a DVD, and you think it is 2023, almost 2024. Like, can you even buy DVD players anymore?
Well, that's it. And if you own a DVD player, how is it still running? Like, I don't even understand. Like, I don't own a DVD player anymore. I've got 4K. I've still got a Blu-ray player, and that's just a backup in case something happens. But yeah, I don't even know. Apart from Marketplace and maybe, the local bloody thrift store or something, I don't think you're coming across a DVD. Just splash out and buy one of those cheapies from JB or
Yeah.
Office Works. I mean, you can buy a laser Blu-ray player for next to nothing, and you can play anything from around the world on it. And so,
It's a
and you
100 bucks.
can't go, but it's not a very good quality player. Well, you're watching something in standard definition. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't
You're
matter.
not an authority on quality. But
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. So the DVD is a baffling thing. But yeah, setting a trend, coming out on Blu-ray. It's loaded with special features. And I don't know much more I can say about it. It's obviously going out trade wide into stores sans the slipcase. So if you didn't order it with the slipcase, that's now completely out of print unless Umbrella managed to find some, in the warehouse or something, and they go on sale at a later point. But same content, just no slips. So yeah, so that should be a good one. I'm looking forward to seeing that one adorn JB Hi-Fi shelves everywhere. Next to other films that begin with R, like like The Rock, with Sean Connery.
Rain Man, I think, very
And
apropos.
Rain Man, yeah, beautiful. That's right. It can go right between the two, so it's perfect. Perfect. Other releases coming out this week. Now, I'll touch on some of the classic films that are making their 4K Ultra HD debuts. You've got The Fugitive and The Color Purple. Now, we did talk about those a couple weeks back. We just archival special features on these, but The Fugitive does have Dolby Atmos. I certainly will be buying The Fugitive. I've already listed my copy of The Fugitive plus US Marshals on eBay. Hopefully someone will purchase that and I can put those funds toward the 4K. And then I don't need US Marshals anymore. Like, I did never revisited it after the theatrical.
Arguably, no one but Glenn needs US Marshals.
Precisely. And I'm sure it'll be on Tubi. If anywhere it should be seen, it's probably Tubi.
But don't get me wrong, I love a Tommy Lee Jones movie as much as the next guy, but
totally. But I don't need to own it. I don't have.
Yeah, it's a streaming one. I feel like it went straight out of my head the minute I saw it. Went out the other end, in one ear, out the other. And we've frozen. Frozen. Oh, sorry.
We're back. We're back. That Tommy Lee Jones one he did with the cheerleaders. What was that?
Oh, Man of the House.
It was Man of the House. I get confused because there's the Chevy Chase, Joseph, what's his name? Jonathan Taylor Thomas film, Man of the House as well. Yeah. So, damn these filmmakers. It's not Lee Butler's Man of the House. It's Tommy Lee Jones's Man of the House. But okay, other classics we've got coming out. Now, these are all coming from Umbrella. We've got first up Lord of Illusions. Now, this is the Blu-ray debut of this one locally. It did get a release through Cinema Cult on DVD back in the day, but now Umbrella are putting it out with both the theatrical and the unrated director's cut. Well, technically it's rated. It's just the director's cut, but an abundance of special features. There's even 2 new featurettes on this release.
There certainly are. There's an interview with, of course, I guess we should clarify that I put this together for Umbrella.
It's true.
And I'm struggling to remember what these extra features are.
I think there was one with Howard Berger.
The special effects guy, the K&B, B of K&B Effects.
And then there's Scott Bakula's Towel Boy. I think he provides
no, I think there's
a special feature.
His name's Steve Hardy, which is odd because our boss is Grant Hardy at Monster, but Steve Hardy is the production designer on the film.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. But if you order the special edition, it does come with a booklet that has an introduction by the guys who run the Clive Barker Archive, and it's got it's got a boatload of it's got the entire kind of history of the making of the film from taken from a series of articles that were published in Fangoria back in the day.
Nice.
They actually sent the guy's name's Anthony C. Ferranti, who we've actually had on the show before. He's now gone on. He started off as a film critic and journalist for Fangoria, but he now has directed all the Sharknado movies, and
he's like a regular Paul Schrader.
He certainly is. He's like the Asylum's Paul Schrader.
Yeah, right. No, that's awesome. And that edition is still available on the Umbrella website at the moment, which is good.
Because he had unparalleled access. Like, he was there during the pre-production, during the writing phase, pre-production, production, post-production, and a follow-up afterwards. So
okay, wow, that's pretty comprehensive.
It's a complete kind of Lord of Illusion story in that booklet, which is pretty fantastic.
I think I need to get a hand on one of those ones for sure. Then of course Red Rock West is coming out on Blu-ray, and now this is probably I guess the definitive edition now, given that it's got all the special feature content that's on the final cut release from the UK.
Not quite.
Almost all of it.
It's missing an interview with there's an interview with the actor on the UK release that we couldn't get because we couldn't track him down to get his permission.
Right, but it does have a video essay by John Harrison on JT Walsh.
It does have a video essay. And it's got some other stuff too. It does have some other extras. I just can't think of them off the top
Is
of my
this
head.
like a neo noir trailer reel, perhaps, or something like that nature? Is that on there? Like
There is a John Dahl trailer reel.
Nice, excellent, excellent.
On there, and there's the commentary with John Dahl, Rick Dahl, and
Roald Dahl, is he on there as well?
Roald Dahl. Yeah,
yeah.
He just inserts weird things about giants.
And they all rhyme.
So it's one of those odd commentaries, where they just cut people in.
Yes. Like, yep.
Special.
Very nice.
And once again, it's got a great booklet that comes with it. And I think you edited that, John Harrison.
I did. Yeah, it was fantastic. And funnily enough, like I just watched the other day, what was it I watched with JT Walsh? Oh, Needful Things. I just watched that. And then when I was channel surfing, maybe a night after, Outbreak was on TV. So I saw JT in that as well and got stuck watching that. I want Umbrella to do a release of that, but of course that's stuck with Warner. But I'm pretty sure you could get Kevin Spacey for a commentary these days. He'd be available to do that. I think he's got a lot of free time to commit to working on prior projects.
I guess it depends on who you hire to moderate it.
Well, that's true too. Yeah. And the last one I want to mention is Monkey Shines, which is coming out from Umbrella. And now this is pretty definitive because this does have, as I believe it's got all the special feature content that's on the Scream Factory release that was also on the Eureka release in the UK. I don't know if the actual disc has any new content. I know the collector's edition does. It's got, a booklet and some art cards and a fold-out poster, I think.
Yeah, it's got fantastic art by Giorgio Credaro. That's on the rigid case that comes in with the special edition. There's essays in the booklet by you. And
that's right. I did do one.
On Orion horror films, and Lee Gambon wrote something for it, and there's also an interview with Joyce Van Patten. These two, I will say, these two releases were problematic because they were basically put together during the strike, so we couldn't get any cast or writers.
Yeah, or writers,
which wouldn't have made that much of a difference with Monkey Shines, seeing as he is no longer with us.
Yeah, no, he penned the screenplay. I mean, you could have got the author who wrote the novel. I've never read the novel to know whether, where it sort of sits. But again, dealing with authors is pretty tricky. We've had an experience dealing with the author of a novelization that's refused to respond, who's just dropped off completely.
Still waiting for those.
He's just waiting for the right moment. To answer 10 questions or 15 questions.
Yeah, it is problematic, but it is, look, it's a pretty jam-packed release. I think it is. Yeah, I would use the word definitive.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't see this until there's a 4K, and I just don't see that happening anytime soon, to be honest. Yeah. But yeah, no, so there's some fantastic releases coming out this week. And now I'll briefly mention Umbrella obviously announced their new releases for February last Friday, and among them was two Rutger Hauer films. They've got The Hitcher, and they've also got Flesh and Blood as well. I'm quite excited to check out Flesh and Blood again, and I'm curious to see what source they'll use for the transfer of The Hitcher, whether it'll be this new restoration or an existing HD master. But I haven't probed them yet, and I know that it was just as big a news to you as it were to me.
I didn't know anything about it until it. I mean, I knew it was in the works, but I didn't know that it was anywhere near being ready to announce. So yeah, look, that's interesting. I don't know what master is being used on it, or what if they're correcting the existing master, or they're using that which Second Sight. I mean, Second Sight have been promising that release for a long time.
For eons. Initially, they were promising the 4K. Then they said, no, we can only do Blu-ray because we've been unable to track down the original negative. And we're, just working from whether it was, I don't think it was even into positive, what source it was. But then they were able to get the negative. And so then the work began again. And now it's pretty much you get a message every 2 months to say, hey, we're still working on it, letting you know
It's coming.
it's coming along. So I mean, look, they did it with Dawn of the Dead and Martin, but we ended up getting those and their stellar releases. So I
Yeah.
guess patience pays off. But
I will be interested to hear your take on Flesh and Blood when you do watch it again, because it is, like, to say politically incorrect by today's standards, it is pretty.
I literally not seen it since the Roadshow tape, and I remember it being a really harrowing experience because there was a scene with Jennifer Jason Leigh in it that I think it was Jennifer Jason Leigh that really
Yeah.
stuck with me, and it was just pretty
Yeah,
brutal. I'm surprised that one even got released in Queensland. In all
in all
honesty,
honesty, yeah, it's incredibly graphic. But
yeah, yeah,
and it must have been shot. I'm assuming a lot of it was shot here because it's Jack Thompson and Tom Burlinson are in it. And why would you have
yeah.
those
That's a
two
good
guys
question.
if it wasn't shot here?
Yeah,
You know, I don't know too much
no, yeah, you're right.
history of it, but you would think if you.
And Rutger Hauer was here not long after for Salute of the Jugger as well, which they
That's
shot
right.
over here as well. So
They
it
shot
would
in
kind of
South
make
Australia.
sense. Yeah, I don't know.
That's
Anyway,
another one that
Benjamin.
Master is missing. Trying
Oh,
to
it is. Yeah, of
down.
course it is. Yeah, because there's a German release out there, which I think is the alternate cut of it. But yeah, that's a strange one, but it's a highly coveted title. People really want and want a good release. What's the other title? Something Heroes? Something of Heroes?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah,
It does
can't
have
recall.
yeah. It's a really
If Glenn was here, he wouldn't know either.
weird. He'll probably tell me on the show after we finish.
Yes. All right, Benjamin. Well, until next week, stay
Stay
physical.
physical.